I want you to stop everything right now and ask yourself one question. What would my life look like if I had already become the person I was meant to be? Don't glance at that question. Don't treat it as theory. I want you to see it, hear it, feel it. Stand in that version of you. Smell the success. Taste the discipline. Hear the silence that comes with inner peace. Because if you cannot visualize that future self with clarity, intensity, and emotion, you will never create it. You will remain stuck in the same pattern, the same loop, the same level. The truth is simple, but most are afraid to live it. You must act as your future self before you become your future self. The lie you've been living, you've been told to wait. Wait for the perfect time. Wait until you're more confident. Wait until you've learned enough. Wait until you're ready. But let me say this loud and clear. There is no such thing as ready. Readiness is a myth designed by fear. And if you keep waiting to become something before acting like it, you'll never cross the threshold. You'll spend your entire life preparing, planning, hesitating. But I didn't come here to let that happen. I came to shake you awake. You must decide who you are before you feel like it. The masses live according to emotion. They move only when they feel like it. They commit only when it's comfortable. They execute only when it's easy. But greatness doesn't wait on mood. It acts on identity, and identity is not something you find. Identity is something you forge. You must wake up every morning and say, I am no longer the person who hesitates. I am no longer the version who doubts. I am no longer owned by the past. You do not rise by circumstance. You rise by command. Not because the world gave you permission, but because you gave yourself orders. The future you is already watching. The most powerful version of you is not a fantasy. It is a force waiting to be activated, but it cannot step in until you open the door, and the door does not open with hope. It opens with action. Every time you wake up early, you become him. Every time you show discipline, you become her. Every time you say no to comfort, you cast a vote for your future self. This is not a game of wishing. This is a game of alignment. And alignment only happens when your actions reflect the outcome you say you want. You don't act based on who you are now, you act based on who you intend to become. The illusion of one day will kill you one day is the most dangerous phrase in the human language. One day, I'll start my business. One day, I'll become consistent. One day, I'll take myself seriously. Let me tell you what one day really means. Never. You don't become your future self in the future. You become that person right now, in this moment, through your next decision. Every second you postpone your transformation, you reinforce the identity of delay. You strengthen the muscle of indecision, and the longer you wait, the harder it becomes to escape the gravitational pull of mediocrity. Shift your identity or stay in the cycle. Why do people keep falling back into old patterns? Because they try to change their behavior. Without changing their identity, they set goals without shedding who they were. They want to act like winners while thinking like victims. They want to speak of greatness while tolerating laziness. They want freedom but keep living like prisoners of their past. That doesn't work. You must become someone new. And to do that, you must destroy the beliefs, behaviors, and patterns that kept the old you alive. That is painful. That is uncomfortable. But that is the only path to transformation. Act like you already have the life you want. What does your future self look like at peak performance? What time do they wake up? What do they eat? How do they think? How do they speak? Who do they associate with? What do they tolerate? Now ask yourself this. Are you acting like that person? Because if you're not, then you're delaying your own arrival. You are resisting your own growth. And you are betraying your own vision. There is only one way to become that person. Live like them now. Speak like them now. Move like them now. Think like them now. Work like them now. You don't need permission. You need alignment. You can't create a future while worshiping the past. Every time you say, this is just who I am, you curse your potential. You attach yourself to limitation. You chain yourself to a version that was never meant to last. You worship your own history, and you kill your destiny. Let it go. Who you were yesterday has no bearing on who you must become. Cut the rope, burn the excuses, step into the unknown, and understand this. The future does not belong to the most prepared, belongs to the most willing. The ones who say, I may not know everything, but I'm still going. I may not feel ready, but I'll act as if I am. I may not be there yet, but I'm already walking like I've arrived. You will be tested before you transform. Let me warn you, this path will not be easy. As soon as you start acting as your future self, the world will push back. Old habits will try to pull you in. Old voices will whisper you're a fraud. Old temptations will beg you to come home. Do not listen. This is the test. And every test is a doorway. You cannot walk into a higher level carrying the same old story. Prove you've outgrown it. Prove you are not the same. Prove you are worthy of what you've asked for. You must pass through the fire of resistance before you are given the key to your future. You must understand something. Your current reality is a reflection of who you've been, not who you're becoming. Everything you see around you, every habit you carry, every result you've created, is the echo of your old identity. It is the residue of the self you've tolerated for too long. That's why your future will not change. Until you reject the version of yourself that created your present, it's not enough to wish for a better life. You must divorce the life that no longer serves you. You must declare, I will not carry this version of me forward. Because every day you hesitate to let go of the old, you delay the arrival of the new. You will be forced to choose. There will come a day, not far from now, when you will stand at the crossroads. On one side is the path you've always taken, comfortable, familiar, predictable. On the other side, a narrow, uncertain, and uncomfortable road. That road leads to transformation. And at that moment, you will hear two voices. One will say, stay, it's safer here, it's who you are. The other will whisper, go, your future is waiting. If you want to change your life, you must obey the whisper, not the noise, because the loudest voice is not always the truest. The loudest voice is often fear, and fear does not want your growth, it wants your obedience. You must disobey. Fear, you must betray your excuses. You must disappoint who you used to be. That's the price of stepping into your future self. You must pay in advance. Most people want results before action. They want confidence before commitment. They wait to feel like their future self before acting like it. But transformation has a price, and it must be paid in advance. You must work before the reward. You must believe before the breakthrough. You must act as if it's already done, long before anyone claps for you. That's what separates the powerful from the passive. The weak wait for proof. The strong create it. I do not wait for life to confirm my vision. I walk as if it's already done. And that confidence pulls my results forward. Your thoughts are orders to the universe. You cannot become wealthy with a poverty mindset. You cannot build confidence while entertaining doubt. You cannot create freedom while rehearsing fear. Your thoughts are not harmless. They are not background noise. They are instructions, commands to your subconscious, and signals to the universe. If you think small, you shrink your ability. If you think scared, you invite limitation. But if you think bold, decisive, and relentless, everything begins to bend in your favor. You don't have to know the how. You must become the who. Because once you upgrade your identity, the how begins to appear. Environment will expose you. You cannot act like your future self while surrounding yourself with the past. Look around you. Look at the conversations you allow. Look at the energy you absorb. Look at who has access to your mind, your time, your heart. Every person around you is either pulling you forward or keeping you stuck. And when you decide to become someone new, the old environment will resist you. People will mock you. They'll say you've changed. Yes, you have, and you must, because if your circle is comfortable with the older version of you, then they are invested in your stagnation, not your evolution. You must choose comfort or calling. Your behavior must outpace your emotions. There will be days when you don't feel like it, days when your energy is low, days when doubt feels louder than belief. That's when most people pause. That's when they wait for motivation. But I don't operate based on how I feel. I operate based on who I am becoming. Discipline is not about feeling ready. It's about acting regardless. You will not always feel aligned, but you can still act aligned. You will not always feel like your future self, but you can still move like them. And when you do that long enough, guess what happens? You become them. Build the pattern. Then let the pattern build you. Transformation is not a single moment. It is a repeated commitment. Success is not found in the event. It's forged in the rhythm. The daily discipline, the hourly decisions, the uncelebrated consistency. You don't rise because of one massive act. You rise because you did what mattered when it was boring, when it was lonely, when no one saw it. That's where your future self is built, in the repetition. And once that pattern is installed, it starts working for you. You don't need willpower anymore. You have structure. You don't need hype. You have habit. And suddenly, everything becomes automatic. Act like you've already won. The most powerful force in your life is certainty. When you walk into a room like you've already succeeded, the room responds. When you speak like the outcome is already guaranteed, people listen. When you move like your vision is inevitable, reality begins to bend. This is not arrogance. This is ownership. You're not faking it. You're revealing it. And the more you walk in that energy, the more the world must adjust. You're not waiting for life to allow you in. You're stepping in as if it was already yours. That's the power of embodying your future self. Your future is not a timeline. It's a discipline. Stop waiting for the calendar to give you permission. Stop thinking transformation is something that happens over time. Time doesn't change you. Decisions do. You can decide right now to act like the most powerful, disciplined, focused version of yourself. You don't need another month, another year, another motivation video. You need one moment of clarity, one refusal to delay, one unstoppable decision to say, this is who I am now, period. And then back that identity with action, relentlessly, without compromise. Without excuse. There comes a moment for everyone when the excuses no longer work, when the old habits become unbearable, when the pain of staying the same becomes greater than the fear of change. When you finally ask yourself, not quietly, but with force, why am I still living below what I know I'm capable of? You weren't born to settle. You weren't built to coast. You were designed for growth, for victory, for greatness. and anything less than that will eat you alive from the inside. That voice in your head telling you to rise, that's not noise. That's the real you, trying to wake up the version you've buried under hesitation, fear, and comfort. Discomfort is the compass if you want to know where your future self lives. Follow your discomfort. Discomfort is not punishment. It's a signal. It tells you where you've been avoiding growth. It reveals where your next level waits. You think staying in your comfort zone protects you. No, it cripples you. It softens your will. It dulls your instincts. It steals your urgency. Your comfort zone is the graveyard of potential. Your future self doesn't live where it's easy. Your future self thrives in pressure, discipline, and focused fire. You will never access your full power while hiding from challenge. You're not lacking time. You're lacking clarity. People say, I just don't have time. But that's a lie we tell ourselves when we're avoiding a decision. You don't need more time. You need to get violent with distraction. You need to become obsessive about your priorities. You need to remove what's unnecessary and multiply what drives results. Your future self doesn't waste time scrolling, gossiping, hesitating. They guard their minutes like treasure, because they know how you spend your hours is how you shape your destiny. Stop pretending you don't know what to do. Start doing what you've known for far too long, but lack the courage to commit to. You'll never outperform your self-imagulate. Me tell you something most people don't realize. You will never rise above the level you see yourself at. You might get lucky once. You might spike in performance for a day, but if you don't believe you're someone who wins, you'll sabotage your own progress, because your mind always returns to the thermostat setting you've installed. If you've programmed yourself to think like someone average, that's where you'll stay. You can grind all you want, but if deep down you still believe I'm not worthy, or I'm not capable, then every win will feel like a fluke. Every challenge will feel like confirmation of your doubts. You must reprogram your image of yourself, not just your goals. You must see yourself as powerful, focused, and already walking in alignment with your vision, because your subconscious does not chase what it doesn't believe it deserves. Live like your legacy depends on it, because it does when you act as your future self. You are not just creating success, you are creating a legacy. You're building a blueprint for the next version of your family, your children, your community. You're proving that transformation is possible. This is not just about you. It's about who your courage gives permission to. Because when you rise, you give others permission to rise. So stop hiding behind someday. Stop shrinking into a shell of your potential. Your life is not small. Your impact is not optional. And your future self will never emerge while you keep playing soft and safe. Burn the escape plan. Most people don't transform because they always keep a way out. They say they're committed, but they're lying. They've got mental exits built into every goal. I'll try this for 30 days and see what happens. If it doesn't work, I'll just go back. I'll do my best, but I won't get my hopes up. That's not a plan, that's permission to quit. Your future self doesn't entertain backup plans. They don't need a parachute. They're not afraid to jump, because they know they'll build wings on the way down. If you want to become someone new, you must burn the old bridges. No return, no reverse, no retreat. Only forward. Repeat until real. Acting like your future self is not something you do once and feel transformed. You don't become your future self with one perfect morning. You become them by repeating the actions until it becomes your nature. Repeat the habits, repeat the mindset, repeat the language, repeat the discipline. You don't rise by motivation. You rise by momentum. And momentum is built in repetition. Repetition in silence. Repetition when no one watches. Repetition when it hurts. That's how you become what you once only imagined. Act like the prize has already been claimed. The world responds to belief. If you approach your goals like you're unsure, if you speak like you're trying to convince yourself, if you walk like the prize still isn't yours, the world will reflect that back to you. But when you carry yourself like it's already done, people listen differently. Opportunities find you. Resistance folds. Doors open. You don't have to beg. You don't have to force. You become magnetic. Because success is attracted to certainty, not arrogance. Certainty. The certainty that comes from living in alignment. The certainty that comes from knowing you've already paid the price. The certainty that comes from acting like the future is here. Now, you've come this far because something inside you refuses to settle. You are not satisfied with the surface. You're reaching deeper, you're demanding more. And now, this is where the separation happens. Because very few people ever make it to this stage of the journey. This is not about mindset anymore. It's about identity war. It's about who you must stop being and who you must now embody with absolute certainty. Let me ask you something direct. What would your future self no longer tolerate? That's where your breakthrough lives. That's where the door to everything you desire is hidden. Everything you avoid is the gate. You already know the habits that need to go. You already know the conversations you must stop entertaining. You already know the boundaries you've been afraid to enforce. You are not confused, you are avoiding. And everything you avoid is costing you your future. That thing you keep delaying, that uncomfortable truth you keep hiding from, that's not an obstacle, that's the initiation. The universe is not blocking you. It's daring you to evolve. Growth does not come to the comfortable. It comes to the committed. If you want to transform, you must stop negotiating with your lower self. There is no growth without exposure to rise. You must be exposed. Exposed to failure. Exposed to criticism. Exposed to the possibility that you might not be ready yet. Show up anyway. And this is where most people quit. They fear exposure. They fear being seen in the process of becoming. But if you hide from exposure, you hide from elevation. You cannot master anything you're unwilling to be seen doing poorly. You think your future self was born with confidence. No, they built it in the fire, in the stumbles, in the uncomfortable repetition that no one applauded. Your fear of judgment is not protection, it's your prison. The longer you try to preserve your image, the longer you delay your transformation. Let go of looking polished. Show up real, show up raw, show up becoming. The reward lives in the unknown. You will not map out your future perfectly. You will not be able to predict every step, but your lack of certainty is not an excuse to stay where you are, because the reward, the wealth, the impact, the freedom, it all lives in the unknown. That's the price of evolution. You must walk into spaces you've never been. You must do things you've never done. You must allow life to surprise you in the best ways. The predictable path is the path of mediocrity, but the unknown is where you find who you really are. Your future self is forged in private. Do not confuse visibility with progress. You don't need a stage. You don't need applause. You don't need validation. You need commitment. Quiet, relentless, unstoppable commitment. Your future self is not built in front of the world. They are built when no one is watching. They are built in early mornings and late nights. They are built in decisions no one claps for, but that change everything. Stop looking for recognition. Start building a rhythm that doesn't need approval, because the real transformation is internal, and when the world finally sees it, it'll be undeniable. You must separate to soar. There will be a moment when you must choose solitude over company, not because you are better, but because you are becoming different. And difference requires distance. You can't grow around people invested in your sameness. You can't evolve while clinging to the conversations of limitation. You must separate. To soar, you must become unavailable to anything beneath your new standard. And yes, it will feel lonely. That's not punishment. That's proof you're shifting. The crowd doesn't follow the future, but the future pulls those who are willing to walk alone. So if you're walking alone right now, good. It means you're not where you used to be, and it means you're on the way to everything you've been asking for. Stop begging for what you're supposed to command you. You've been begging life to give you what you haven't yet claimed, asking for results, wishing for clarity, hoping for a sign. But your future self doesn't beg. They command. They don't wait. They initiate. They don't request permission. They set the tone. You must understand, life will mirror the energy you broadcast. If you show up hesitant, uncertain, indecisive, life will delay your reward. But if you walk in the authority of your future self, everything begins to shift. Don't ask for alignment. Act in alignment. Don't wait to feel ready. Be ready by what you do. Your new reality is not unlocked by hope. It is unlocked by command. The old you must die for the new you to live in. Here it is, the most painful truth you must face. You cannot carry the old version of yourself into the future you desire. The laziness must die. The indecision must die. The need for approval, the addiction to comfort, the identity of almost, it all must die. You cannot become new without burying what no longer serves you. This is not just about growth. This is about death and rebirth. This is about becoming so unavailable to your old ways that you couldn't return to them even if you tried. The door behind you must close permanently, and only then will the doors ahead unlock. You want the future? Then, lay down the mask. This is your last warning. Not from the world, not from your circumstances, but from your future self. They are no longer waiting. They are no longer whispering. They are shouting through your thoughts, pushing through your doubt, demanding you listen, because if you don't act now, you will miss your moment. This isn't about someday. This isn't about another year of planning. This is about what you decide right now. The window is closing. There is a window open in your life, a narrow, powerful, life-altering window, but it won't stay open forever. Every day you delay, it shrinks. Every excuse you repeat, it slides closer to shut. Every comfort you choose over discipline, it fades a little more, and if you wait long enough, it will slam shut. Not because the opportunity wasn't real, but because you weren't. Your future self doesn't have time to entertain your hesitation anymore. They are standing on the other side of that window, hand extended, but they will not wait forever. You either rise now or regret later. You are one choice away. You don't need a perfect plan. You don't need the applause. You don't need more time. You need to decide. That's it. One decision. One internal shift. One line in the sand that says, I will never go back. Everything changes after that. Your energy shifts. Your voice sounds different. Your presence becomes undeniable. You become dangerous too. Anything that once tried to hold you down. Because you are no longer waiting for belief. You are acting as if it's already yours. And when you make that choice, your future self stops being a vision and starts being a reality. Desperation creates power. No one talks about this, but I will. You won't change just because you're inspired. You'll change when you finally get desperate enough to destroy the old version of you. When you're done entertaining mediocrity. When you're done tolerating almost. When you're done living halfway in, halfway out. That's when you become powerful. That's when you walk into rooms differently. That's when people feel you before you speak. Because you've burned everything behind you. No excuses, no distractions, no other identity to fall back on. Just the future, just the vision, just the fire. The final death of the old youth. This is the part no one can do for you. I can push you, I can speak into you, but I can't bury the old you. Only you can. So do it. Put your foot down and say, I am no longer this. Say goodbye to your hesitation. Say goodbye to your distractions. Say goodbye to the soft voice that kept you small, and bury it fully, without ceremony, without looking back, because the second you bury the old you, the new you will rise, and once they rise, everything changes. Final words. You were chosen for this. This message didn't find you by accident. You were chosen to hear this, because you've been chosen to become more. You feel it, don't you? The pressure, the pull, the undeniable sense that you were made for something greater, that your current life is only a fraction of what's possible. That's not delusion, that's destiny calling. And it's calling you right now, so get up. Start acting like the future is already yours. Speak like it's already done. Move like your legacy depends on it, because it does. And never again look back. This is your moment. This is the line between who you've been and who you will become. No more hesitation, no more excuses, no more delay. You are powerful. You are ready. And the future you've imagined is already waiting. So act like it, walk like it, speak like it, and most of all, live like it, because the only thing left between you and everything you desire is the decision to become who you were always meant to be.